All right, and we're back. Probably
We're
literally a
back.
decade later.
You said a what later?
I said probably literally a decade later.
Oh,
On an earlier
what?
episode, I think that like the second one we did, right? There was like a 3 month gap, and then when the episode starts, I make a joke that at the rate we're going, it'll be like a decade until we get to like 100 episodes or something.
Time does fly, man. It's
So
so
in
true.
almost a decade, I think we've done like 20 episodes.
We are back.
All right. So we're back, and we can get to that later. Today, excuse me, on today's episode, we're going to talk about 2023's The Flash. So I'll start with some information. So The Flash is a 2023 action, adventure, fantasy, sci-fi, four different genres, that was made on a budget of, it says, between 200 and 220 million. What do you think the box office was?
Man, this thing, it barely, I don't think it cracked like even 80 million.
Really? That's what you think?
All right, it probably made more, but I think they're lying.
Here it says the box office was 271 million.
Wait,
However,
you said the budget was how much? 200 something?
about 200, yeah.
Okay.
But I
Yeah,
think
yeah,
like
that's
you got to add in marketing, which is almost the same as the budget. So it was probably a loss because all the articles
yeah,
said it was a big flop.
right. I love how they do that though.
So
They don't mention any of the marketing, any of the other stuff. They're just like, this is how much it costs, and this is how much it made. But it's like it didn't really make anything if you had the marketing. Like, what are they
I
talking
know,
about?
I know, I know. I don't understand it. Like everything I read online says that the box office, I'm sorry, the budget information doesn't include marketing, but you need to take that into account. Yet, for some reason, if that's so important, why don't they include it in the budget? I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, it's funny how like you have to literally separately search for the marketing and anything else as far as yeah. It's
I've
like you
never,
think that they
s-
haven't. Yeah, they should just have it in the same section. They should just have it all
I've
there.
never seen those numbers. The only thing I've ever seen is that marketing is typically the same as the budget.
Oh, right, right. I guess they can't even divulge that. Maybe that's like for the taxes or something. You
I
can't
don't
do
know.
that.
I have no idea how this works, but anyway, the point is, that's what it made, and the movie stars. Hang on. Okay, Ezra Miller as the Flash, Michael Keaton returning as Bruce Wayne slash Batman, Sasha
Oh,
Calle as Kara Zor-El, Supergirl, Michael Shannon, very briefly as General Zod. Just think if there's anybody else important. Ron Livingston replaces that other actor as Barry's dad. Jeremy Irons is
which
Alfred. Sorry.
do you mean? What other actor? His dad was somebody else?
Yeah, guy from Watchmen. I forget his name. Um, yeah. So
Or was he
that's
was he in the first Flash?
no. He was in an earlier DCEU movie. I think it
Oh,
was
okay.
Justice League. Maybe I think.
Yeah, one of the okay.
So let me. I'm just trying to recap the plot of this movie. Okay. Actually, I can do this. Okay, so the movie is about the Flash. Barry Allen's version of the Flash. This movie is part of the DC cinematic universe, and the plot is Barry Allen discovers he can go back in time. He can run so fast he can go back in time. So he decides to go back in time and prevent his mother's death, which happened when he was a kid. So he goes back and he does it, and then as he's coming back to present day, he gets stuck in, I think it's 2013 is the year. And when he gets there, he finds that things are very different. They're not the way they were before. And there's the invasion from General Zod from Man of Steel is happening. Batman is the Michael Keaton version, not the exact same version, like a variant. And other members of the Justice League are other people. And instead of what's his face, you know, Kal-El coming to the the Earth. It was his cousin Kara Zor-El, and yeah, so he now needs to fight out the invasion. and also his younger counterpart is there. So he and him team up and create their own Justice League with Supergirl and Batman, Michael Keaton's Batman. They ultimately stop, or they're unable to stop the invasion. And what Barry ultimately learns is that he needs to like put his mother's death back. He learns this lesson that there's some things you can't control. So he restores everything to back the way it was, goes back to the present day. We think everything's great. Turns out it's not. There's still some changes, and then the movie ends.
And then it just ends.
There's a lot more to it, but I'm keeping it broad. We can get into more later. Okay, well, let's talk about our history, and then we can talk about what we think. So, do you want to go first, or should I go first?
As far as the history, yeah, you can go first.
All right. There's a lot I can say, so I'll try to keep it brief. I'm a
So
fan of the
you grew up,
comics.
you were
What?
born, your parents had you, and then they got you the Flash comic.
Yep. No, 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 no. The first comic I ever read was Batman 497. I was never
What's
a big fan of the Flash.
when you say 497? Was that like part of was that a volume or was that just like the actual issue?
No, the issue number of the original volume.
Okay.
Um, so I was never a big fan of the Flash, but I've always been a fan of DC Comics. So I know the lore, and I don't. So let me just give a little bit of background. So
DC stands for what does DC stand for again? District
uh,
Community.
Detective Comics, I believe.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, it is
Yeah.
Detective Comics.
That's the series that Batman debuted in. But okay, a little history lesson. So um, in so DC when they started, creating superhero comics, they had like Batman, Superman, The Flash, Green Lantern, Wonder Woman, et cetera, et cetera. And these characters were really popular. After a few decades, some of them lost popularity, specifically The Flash and Green Lantern.
Hmm.
So DC stopped publishing them. And then after some time, superhero comics became popular again. So they thought, let's try relaunching these characters. So they created a new Flash, Barry Allen, and a new Green Lantern, Hal Jordan. Previously, there were
Oh,
two
that's right.
different.
Because so the first Flash it was in was West or something.
It was no, it was Jay Garrick.
Really? There was
I'm gonna
no
get
other
to
name.
I'm gonna get to the other guy. Don't worry, it's coming. The original Flash was named Jay Garrick, and
Okay.
yeah, actually, you never mind. I'll get to this point. His name was Jay Garrick, and the original Green Lantern was named Alan Scott. They both had very different origins, but so DC relaunched them, different origins, different characters, right? And they became really popular. But now they had a problem because those characters read about the earlier Green Lantern and Batman and Superman. They were comic book characters in their world. So this created a continuity problem because how is it that they knew Batman, but at the same time, Batman was a comic book character? So DC decided that um, the original characters were on one Earth called Earth 2, and the new versions were on an Earth called Earth 1. So Earth 1 had its own version of like Batman and Superman. Earth 2 had its own version.
So
So
they were doing multiverse stuff back in like the 50s.
DC was the original multiverse comic book company.
Wow.
Yeah, I think this was the 40s, to be honest. I have to look it up. I don't remember. But anyway, so they've got multiple versions of these characters. That becomes confusing. So in 1986, they do this big crossover story called Crisis on Infinite Earths. And one of the main images of this story is a bunch of Earths like crashing into each other. And if you notice in the Flash movie, that's in the climax, you see when he's in that time bowl thing, you see like Earths crashing into each other. That's an homage
Mhm.
to this comic. So at the end of this comic, oh, sorry, before I get to that, Barry Allen had a sidekick, Wally West. His name was Kid Flash.
Ah,
So in Crisis on Infinite Earths, towards the end of the story, Barry Allen sacrifices his life to stop the main villain of the story and like save everybody. And then Wally West takes on the mantle of the Flash, and then the multiverse like gets destroyed, and then there's now only just one Earth going forward. So This was a really iconic comic. DC references it all the time. You know, it was a big deal in the industry. Like no one had ever done anything like that before. Nowadays, you got crossovers every week, but it wasn't like that back then.
So
And
wait, what year was that when that happened? When they
1996,
put the Oh, okay, that was in the 80s. Okay.
yeah. So in 2000, I think nine, for some bizarre reason, DC decided to bring back Barry Allen. There was one guy who was kind of leading the charge, so to speak, at DC. So he was a fan of Barry Allen. He didn't like Wally West. So even though people had grown up with Wally West as the Flash, including me, he wanted to bring back this other guy. So they bring him back, and they kind of sidelined Wally. So I
Yeah,
don't. I'm
because
not.
it was like the whole TV show. Like, yeah, that's all you ever heard is Barry Allen from the show.
Yeah, but in the like animated cartoon, it was Wally West, and I think there were
Oh,
other.
really?
Yeah. Yeah, no, like Wally West, when I started reading comics, Wally West was the Flash. I just thought, oh, yeah, he's the Flash. And there was some other guy named Barry Allen who died in some other story.
Whoa. So they literally just they shelved Wally West and they just pushed Barry Allen the whole time.
So Wally West is still there, but the way they write the stories now is like okay, so while Wally was the Flash, one of these writers came up with the concept of the Speed Force. And that explains the ability to run fast. They tap into something called the Speed Force. When Barry comes back to life, they say that Barry is the source of the Speed Force. He's the end all be all Flash. Even the original Flash, like, derives his abilities from Barry.
What?
It's totally like the writer, you know, putting their prejudices in the story. Wally's still around, but he like the main Flash title focuses on Barry. They actually did eventually come up another one for with Wally, but that's sort of I'm gonna not get into that at the moment. The main Flash, the one who's on the Justice League, the one who shows up in other forms of media, such as these movies, is Barry Allen. So I say all this to say I don't like that they did that. My Flash,
Right.
Wally West, in my opinion, should have been the Flash that they had in the DC cinematic universe. But they didn't. So I'm already going into this with a little bit of a bias, is the point I'm trying to make.
I mean,
So
I'm pretty surprised that you kept this sort of bias like so low key because I didn't know anything. I think didn't we do the Justice League review one time or something?
no, we didn't do that.
I could have swore we reviewed the Justice. Maybe we didn't. But
No,
yeah, I
no.
mean, that's just crazy. That would have been the first thing I'd be complaining about. Like, what the heck? He's not even the real Flash.
I mean, look, I grew up with Wally West. He's my Flash. Somebody grew up with Barry Allen as their Flash. It's just, you know what I mean? Like, it's
So,
not like one is better than the other. You know what I mean? It's just,
so
what,
Barry Allen was from the 50s, you're saying, and then Wally West took over in the 80s.
yeah. So let me be clear. It's not the character who is the Flash I have a problem with. It's that they undid
All the
that
stuff.
moment in Crisis because it's basically like a fan fiction kind of thing. Some writer who grew up with Barry Allen as the Flash, he read Flash as a kid, and when he became an adult, he became a comic book writer, and he said, you know what? I don't like the way comics are these days. I'm going to bring it back to the way it used to be. I'm going to undo this, epic event, this milestone event in the DC Comics history because I want my Flash to be back. That would be like if I became a comic writer in 10 years and decided that Wally was going to become the Flash and Barry died.
It's
It's
probably
this
gonna happen.
it's this like, they want their agenda. It's more important than the integrity of the story and the universe.
So they're just gonna redo that. You're right. They're gonna come up with a new storyline. The next 10 years is gonna be Wally West now or something. They're gonna reinvent it
No, it'll be Barry.
because
What'll happen is the
oh, that's
next
right.
generation of readers will now grow up with Barry as their Flash.
No, I know what you're saying, but like, yeah, you're right because you're basically saying that. No, okay, but yeah, well, they brought back Barry. Basically, they brought him back.
Right. So now he's the main Flash. So now going forward, people who get into comics, and people who watch these movies, they're going to think, oh yeah, he's the Flash.
So you know what they're gonna do is they're just gonna say that Barry died and they're gonna bring back Wally.
No, 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 I'm not gonna do that. No, look who's the Flash in this movie. It's Barry Allen.
Right, but you're saying that like Wally West is like the Robin version of the Flash.
Is the what?
He's like Robin's like the young Flash or whatever. They're gonna come out with a young Wally and he's gonna take over.
Probably not, because see, DC and or Warner Brothers, their mindset is they want the quote unquote classic versions of these characters. So they're not gonna bring in all this other convoluted, history like having the sidekick and having the crisis story. They're not gonna do all that. They want to keep it simple for mainstream audiences.
So the guy before Barry was who again? Something.
Before Barry, his name was Jay Garrick. And in fact, in the scene where the Earths are crashing, there's one scene where you see Jay Garrick. He's the guy with the helmet and
Oh,
I forget what you call it. There's like things on the helmet. Whatever, it doesn't matter. His name is Jay Garrick. And what's ironic is if they want the classic versions, wouldn't he be the classic version? He's the original version of the character.
so do you remember what happened between him and Barry? They just stopped writing about Jay Garrick. That's it. They stopped caring about what his story happened. Did he
They
die in the
stopped they
comics?
stopped publishing that series of the Flash. And then because superhero like those characters were no longer popular, superhero comics were not popular, with the exception of Batman and Superman.
Just you know that like I'm sure like those comics are probably worth $1 billion or something.
Yeah,
Like the
probably.
Jay Garrick Flash.
Yeah. But look, let's stay on topic here. So um the reason I'm saying so that's my background with the character in the comics. My background with the DC cinematic universe is I'm really disappointed. I mean, I don't like it's so easy to create a interconnected cinematic universe with these characters like Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman. I don't understand how they could mess that up so badly. And for the love of God, they had Marvel, right? They created the template for how to do it in the movies, and yet they still couldn't get it right. So I'm just so disappointed in the way they did it. So I'm going into this cautious. To be perfectly honest, I actually really didn't have any interest in seeing it. The only reason I had any interest was because they were bringing back Michael Keaton. I was really curious to see what that was going to be.
Yeah, no, I mean when you said you wanted to do this, it was having to watch this movie was really it's felt like having to eat like a really terrible food or something.
Well, so my background with the Michael Keaton Batman is I remember seeing Batman Returns as a kid. I remember my mom took me to see the movie after school, and I remember she fell asleep. And I remember liking it. Obviously, I was like 10 years old. And yeah, my favorite movie version of Batman is the Nolan movies. But I think that those Tim Burton movies are great movies. They're not great Batman movies, but they're great movies. I enjoyed it.
Yeah. Okay.
So
Yeah.
that's sorry, go ahead.
No, no, yeah. No, I hear what
Oh,
you're
there's one
saying.
other thing. I'm sorry. I mean, there's one last thing I just wanted to say about my history. So before the movie came out, DC announced that James Gunn and Peter Safran were going to become the new heads of DC Studios and that they were going to completely reboot the whole universe. So this movie basically like it's a movie in a cinematic universe that's ending. And so James Gunn said the movie was great, and he said that the movie's gonna connect to the new universe, which is what happens in the comics. And in fact, a lot of this movie is based off of a story called Flashpoint, which brought in a rebooted universe. But that never happened. So I was disappointed to see that. But the reason I'm saying it is because I was going into this movie excited to see like how are they gonna do this. Yeah, okay, I'll shut up now. No, I'll let you talk. What's your background?
So my background on this movie, you mean as far as like the movie itself or just the comics or the
Any background that you think is relevant?
uh it's funny, man. Like, yeah, my background stems from like just the Super Friends from like the old cartoon from the 80s,
Really?
Super Friends. Yeah, I'm like an 80s kid, so like I
Okay.
kind of remember those cartoons and like I didn't really I used to watch them. I thought that they were cool as a kid, but like in my head I was just like, dude, why are the Super Friends all hanging out with each other? I mean, I guess it was just cool that they were all chilling out, but the Flash was there, Aquaman and it was really sappy and like, Batman and everybody was there. And, that's kind of how I remember the Flash. I don't really remember the Flash's
And that
like the
version of the Flash
comic.
was Barry Allen, right?
I think it was, yeah. I
Yeah,
think it
it
was
had to have
Barry.
been. Yeah.
Yeah, so like you were saying, yeah, I guess the '80s was hardcore Barry. Like I never knew about the other guy you were saying. Like I forgot his name already.
Because it was only in the comics and popular media, other than the cartoon, they never had Wally.
Right, right. Yeah, that's what or not Wally, but the guy before Wally or
Yeah, no
the
one,
first guy.
you wouldn't have because like I mean, he was still around in the DC universe, but he's like they don't do comics about him. He'll show up in comics, but he's not a main
Yeah,
character. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. They'll probably bring him back. I mean, that's how they always do. They just redo, revamp. Uh,
probably not
what I like
because I think
what I
the
like about comics, what I like about comics is that you'll have like some writer like a Frank Miller or like Alan Moore, and they'll take that guy that original comic, they'll make a series about him, and then he'll become popular again. They'll probably do that, make a whole new
well,
script.
I have a feeling that Barry is going to be the one they push as the main Flash.
No,
Um,
yeah, for these new movies and stuff, for like the
yeah.
whatever the new, yeah, they'll probably use Barry. I mean, it just sounds more iconic, like Barry.
I'll tell you one
Um,
other thing you might find interesting. So the original guy, Alan Scott, they later revealed that he is gay.
which guy?
The original. Wait, I'm sorry, I'm mixing up my characters. Never mind. Forget it. The guy who was originally the Green Lantern was revealed to be gay,
Oh,
but
really? From back in
I'm
the
mixing
day,
up
like from the 60s?
uh, earlier than that.
Wow, they actually said that early. I mean, that's
No,
like
no, not
beyond
back
comics.
then. It's a retcon.
A retcon?
Retcon is short for retroactive continuity. It's basically when some
Oh,
established continuity is changed after the fact.
and what year was that where they were saying that he was gay?
I don't remember exactly. It was like maybe in the last 10 years or so.
Oh, okay. No, I thought it was like, oh my God, in the 60s they were saying that? Good
No, I
Lord.
mean, come on, they're not. It's because they want to be progressive, have diverse characters. They were thinking about that back then.
Oh yeah, no, yeah. Right now they're obviously trying to do all that woke stuff. Of
Yeah.
course they're gonna be pushing that. But yeah, so my as far as like this movie and stuff, yeah, dude, my big interest was Michael Keaton too. Like to me, he's the GOAT. Like even watching this movie and seeing his scenes, like it was just you got the nostalgia and it might be it's not even controversial, man. Like let's admit it, man. Like Ben Affleck's Batman can't even come close to to Keaton or Christian Bale. And I think that Christian Bale is like a hard, he's not even close to Michael Keaton. Like I'm telling you, man, like just the way that each Batman acts, Michael Keaton just wins. Like it's just the way he talks. Dude, it's funny too, man. Like his Batman, he's like the Mad Max of Batman as far as like not saying too much.
Hmm.
Like he chooses his words wisely, but when he talks, like you're
You
just
mean
like,
Michael
yeah,
Keaton, right?
yeah, Michael
Yeah.
Keaton.
Okay.
Yeah, the way he talks, like he's a man of few words, but when he says what he says, it's just like so iconic and like he says the right words at the right time. And like they figured all that out. I don't know, obviously, it's just that comes with editing and pacing, and you would think that like it'd be easy to do that, but Tim Burton made it seem like that was just the way it was. But then you watch all these newer Batman movies and you're just like, shut up, Batman. Like, what are you doing? Stop talking. Like, you just start thinking that in your head, with the Batman Forevers and the even the new Batman, the Batman, whatever was it called?
Yeah. Pattinson.
Yeah, yeah. Even he does an okay job. I like his chin, but yeah, we could definitely. Yeah. So all right. So yeah, Michael Keaton,
Well, what do you
love it.
think? So, what did we can? I got your history. What do you think of the movie?
Uh, Let me pull out my notes because it's funny. Like right when I started watching the movie, I started writing the notes, and basically this movie is just bad. Like just like from the very first second you start watching it, you start getting annoyed. Like you just the pacing, the candy bar scene at the beginning, where they're or not the candy, not the beginning, but like the coffee scene at the
Yeah, the
beginning,
coffee
where he's
shop.
ordering a coffee,
Yeah.
and then they just have to do all these little quibs like, "Ugh," and the coffee barista is like, I'm a snooty, snappy barista. Look at me. And I'm sure that guy was like an actor, or whatever. He's like, yeah, that's my first acting moment. They gave me lines. The effects are terrible. The dialogue is terrible. Every time you see the flash on the screen, you just like hit me in the face, just punch me. Uh, all the jokes are bad. Just there's not one joke you're just like, huh, that's kind of cool. Good job there. Wonder Woman shows up for no reason whatsoever, just to say that she's there, just so they can get like a lunchbox scene. Um,
Boxing?
just like well, this is the thing when they promoted this movie, dude. Remember when they promoted it? I saw the trailer. I was like, ooh. And like the trailer looked like it was, but this is what I'm saying, dude. They were doing every sort of gimmick that you could do in show business to try to get eyeballs to come see this movie. Like they were, and then when you finally see the final product, you could tell they were so desperate, and they were just using all the stops to try to just capitalize because I think they knew it was going to be a big bomb, and they were struggling, and they were just desperate, man. So it was one of those things where they and that's what I'm saying, man. We can get to the ending part where all the that whole bowl scene, the bowl thing that they were doing. Remember the like the
Yeah,
stadium
a time bowl. Yeah.
with yeah, the time bowl. Like that was such a terrible gimmick that they just kept running with. It was almost like they were just like, we'll just do this because we don't have any money anymore. We're running out of money, and this is going to save us. And it to me, it was like the biggest failure that they could ever create with this type of movie. I hate them. I hate them all. What did you think?
Okay. Okay, I have a lot to say about it. So I'll start with what I didn't like about it. I mean, I agree the visuals are pretty terrible. I was kind of shocked at how bad they looked. Given, like the amount of time they apparently spent on this movie, the amount of budget they have, it was crazy to me.
Wait, that's right. How long did it take for them to spend on this movie? Like, what were they? How
It
long? It
was
took like a
some
year.
year. I don't know exactly. Like they
It was like
say
three
they had
years or four
started doing
years.
it in like 2014, but I don't
Oh
think they
my
were
God.
consistently, hold on a second. They weren't consistently filming it from then on. I think it was like in development and then closer to the time of release they actually started like filming and everything.
Yeah.
But I don't know
I
exactly.
mean, most movies take about 7 to 10 years. Most movies.
No, they don't. The movie takes like 2 years. Are you crazy?
No, no, I mean like as far as development, but like when it comes to filming, like
Oh, like the
shooting, yeah,
entire
shooting,
thing?
shooting,
Sure. Yeah.
right, right. Shooting's about like a year,
Yeah.
maybe
Yeah.
less. If they know what they're doing, it takes like 9 months or something.
All right, let me finish. So, um, yeah, the beginning was a bit goofy. I don't disagree with that. Um, here's what I liked about it. So part of my bias is definitely like I'm a comic book fan, so a lot of this stuff is going to be specifically significant to me, like references and things that most people wouldn't get. So, that's going to obviously cloud my judgment here. Oh yeah, I almost forgot. Batman's costume that looked absolutely terrible. I have no idea why. It looked. I mean, what I don't understand is in the first movie with Ben Affleck as Batman, they did a great costume. Every movie after that, they had a different costume that looked terrible, and this one was like god awful. Like I was like shocked at. Yeah. Anyway.
But you
Um.
saying you're saying Ben Affleck's Batman
Yeah.
costume?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, you're right. Yeah, yeah, that costume was
And
like, what is it? That thing was stupid.
yeah, I don't know. And in the trailers, it like they only showed it very, very briefly, and it looked really cool because it looked like the gray and blue classic costume. But when you see it in the movie, like up front, it looks terrible. Anyway, here's what I like about the movie. I'm gonna try to break this up into categories to make my what I'm saying somewhat like coherent. Okay, acting wise, I thought Ezra Miller did a great job. From what I read, he had to film every scene twice. So like once as older Barry, once as
Oh,
younger
the
Barry.
younger.
And
Yeah.
I actually believe that they were two different people. I thought that he did such a great job that I was
Yeah,
convinced.
yeah, you're yeah, I'll give you that, man. That
Yeah,
that with the two differences, like they
yeah,
did a really good job with like it seemed like it was two different berries. Yeah, you're right.
yeah, exactly. Like two different actors.
Yeah.
Michael Keaton, I thought was great. He pretty much picked up right where he left off. There's that scene where they had that first battle, and they're back at Wayne Manor, and he's looking in the mirror at like his scar, and he has this smirk on his face, like, yeah, I loved it. Things like that, I love. Oh yeah, and there was one other thing that didn't work for me. His costume, I like the updated version, but having the black belt did not work for me. It should have been yellow, like in the originals, to break
Yeah.
up the color scheme.
Good point, dude.
So
Dude, I was looking at that costume. I was like, something's off with this
yeah, it's
costume. I'm
because
like,
there's no
huh?
yellow in the middle.
It
Yeah, it
was the
looks
freaking
weird.
belt.
Yeah.
It was the belt.
Yep.
Oh, oh
Anyway.
shit. Yeah, 'cause I was like, it almost looks like a ninja. I was like, his costume looks a little black and sleek. It looks a little
Yeah.
too sleek there.
Okay. I thought the character who played Supergirl, she did a great job. I mean, it wasn't like mind blowing. I think Keaton and Miller, kind of stole the show. Michael Shannon was clearly like checked out during his scenes. Like he couldn't care less. This is just a paycheck for him.
Yeah,
Um,
did you hear what he like? From what I heard, he just it was like blue screen, or he was not even in the like
yeah,
they
that
he
whole
just did it
thing.
from like
Yeah,
a out of yeah out of
yeah,
location. He
yep,
just
yep,
did the scenes real quick.
yeah. No, I know. He was very candid about the fact that he's like this movie. I don't care about this. But anyway, um, that's in terms of the cast and the acting. In terms of the story, I liked it. I liked the like sort of emotional, center of him and his mom and having to learn that, you can't control everything. I thought that was handled well. The only problem with it is like he learns his lesson at the end, but then he still changes something when he moves the can, and then that alters, the future. It's like he didn't learn his lesson after all. That was a stupid ending.
Yeah,
That that
if I
ruined the
can feed
whole
off
message.
if I can comment off each of your comments
Sure.
on that part, dude, like uh I mean this is a clear movie where it and this is my problem with all these types of movies. This is why I think movies are so terrible now, is that like there's no stakes. Like anything that a character does in a movie, like in the end he's either forgiven or like it just didn't even matter. And like to me that's so it's such poor writing, it's such shoddy building up the pay building up any idea of what a movie should compile. Like, there should be a payoff. Like, Lord of the Rings is obviously the thing that everybody likes to freaking cite. Dude, I remember when movies, back when Lord of the Rings came out, dude, when movies would come out, dude, there was like 20 good movies a year. And you'd be like, yeah, all these movies know what they're doing. They do the same thing. It's not a big deal. And then now that I see what's going on, dude, like it is such a big deal to have that sort of that structure. As cheesy and dumb as it sounds, that like, I took it for granted back in the day, dude. I was like, yeah, every writer knows what they're doing. They know how to create. And this movie, the biggest dude, and I'm not just saying this movie, dude. All these other movies, dude. Lots of movies are doing this, and this movie is a great example of how to fail at this sort of idea. Like you were saying, dude. Like Barry does the stupidest idea, dude. He does everything dumb at the beginning. He's like, I'm gonna go save my mom, and then and he's like, oh shit, that was a bad idea. Oh, that was a bad idea. Let me not do that. And then at the end, he's still the same. He just didn't learn. I don't know. I'm just
I
so
mean, I
annoyed with the
think
guy, dude.
I think by the time the climax, he did learn his lesson. Oh yeah, that was the other thing I liked. I liked how the 2013 Flash had been trying again and again and again and again to prevent, the climax, like Michael Keaton dying and everything. And ultimately, Barry had to face himself and, come to the realization that his mom was right. You can't control everything. Something, and that was sad to me. Like he had to let his mom die to, set things right. And so again, this is a comic book thing, but because he messed up the timeline and everything, that original DC universe is gone. He'll never get back. So that scene with Ben Affleck, where Ben Affleck was saying something like, he's like, "I'll see you around" or something. That to me was like bittersweet because that was the last time we're ever going to see, and like that character as Batman and those two interact. And it was a nice sort of bookend to their interactions in Justice League, kind of close the chapter on that. That was sad.
I, I know what you're saying, and I kind of took that part for granted when Ben Affleck says that, because
Yeah.
dude, I'm telling you, this movie was the pacing in this movie was so terrible that like it was like everything felt like a little quip joke, like ha ha ha, funny joke, next scene, funny joke, ha ha ha, little one liner, punchline, and they even tried the way they edited the Ben Affleck scene where they did that moment with him.
Mm.
Like it was just so quickly edited. Like, let's hurry up because this movie's too long already. Like it felt like there was no like, oh man, that moment right there was so deep. Let me just soak that in. And some movies, the editing does it way better than what this did. And dude, that's what I'm saying. Like, I wasn't able to sit back and be like, oh, like I guess you probably read the comics, so you kind of know like little moments more here and there. But from a moviegoer, like the editing was just way too choppy. Like, dude, there was so many scenes where I was like, dude, I had no idea that in the two when the two berries were hanging out. I thought that they both had their powers. I didn't know when the other guy lost his, like, I guess the older
No,
Barry
he
lost his
said to
powers.
him, hold on, when he literally says to him when he first meets him, he realizes that's the day that he got his powers. So that's why he took him to the lab to make sure it still happened. But the lightning hit him It hit them both. It went through older Barry into younger Barry, and then that took away older Barry's powers and gave the powers to younger Barry.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. The movie does a terrible job at even showing any of
No,
that.
that's not true
Like
because in the very next scene where he tries to run at super
they
speed and then he can't, like it's very obvious he doesn't have his powers anymore.
No, but I'm saying I don't even remember like when all this happened. Like, yeah, maybe I looked at my phone for like 2 seconds, but the way that the movie does it, like it doesn't like you know, 'cause they need to help reinforce like what's happening. And then there's like certain moments where like, yeah, I mean, I get that like I knew that like when he was hanging out with Barry, there were certain things he couldn't do and he was getting beat up and stuff. I was like, oh wow, he must have lost his powers. I wasn't like, oh, but like that's what I'm saying. Like at the very beginning, you would think that in a movie like that, that like they would make that an iconic moment. That like,
It
oh,
was
dude,
the shot of him getting hit by lightning was an iconic moment too.
right? But I didn't get any of that. Like, I
All
wasn't,
right.
I didn't understand it. Like, if you get hit by lightning or something, that I was like, I guess maybe like, to me, like the Flash always had power. Like, I don't know where Flash's powers originated from. Like, I don't know how he got his powers. Like, was he struck by lightning from the beginning or
In
something
the
like that?
original origin, yeah, he was like in the lab working on something, and some lightning bolt hit him, hit the chemicals, and he got bathed in the chemicals, and he got super speed.
Oh, okay.
Very
Yeah,
simple
see,
origin.
yeah, I'm telling you, I have no idea. Like the Flash to me was like one of the least important characters ever. But then, all right, so in my history of the Flash, not history, but doing a little bit of research, like
Hmm.
if you actually read into the Flash, dude, like he's like one of the most powerful comic book
Yeah,
characters ever,
yeah.
like
He can go back in
ever.
time. He can change the, he can destroy the universe for sure.
Well, that's
He
what I'm
did in
saying.
this
Like
movie.
he's so fast he can fly. So what pissed me off about I wanted to go into to certain parts of the movie that just like made me want to rip my hair out and just freaking scream in the air.
So
So okay, and this is the thing. I'm a big guy. What makes a movie cool and like tolerable to me is like little things that like keep me in the movie, like that don't throw me off. And this movie had so many moments where I was just like, I'm thrown off. I'm not in the mood. All right, so here's the scene here. The scene where the dad was telling Barry to call 911. Remember the flashback scene?
yeah,
So Barry's a little kid shows up and he's like, "Oh my God, my mom's stabbed!" And then the dad's with the mom, and he looks at Barry, who's like 5. Like I swear to God, the guy's like 7 years old or something, dude. And he's like,
the kid.
"What are you doing, Barry? Call 911 for God's sake!" I'm just, dude, that right there. I wanted to literally pause the movie and then go find that writer and be like, "Who do you think you are, dude? Like, how dare you, dude? Like,
Wait,
dude,
what? Wait, what did
if
you? I'm
I
sorry.
had a kid, dude,
Yeah.
if I had a kid, dude, like, dude, you're an adult. I'm an adult, dude. I'm an adult male. I'm not gonna yell at a 5-year-old and be like, "How dare you not know how to call 911, you idiot!" Like, dude, that's literally what this guy did to his son, dude.
I mean, you
Like,
remember that that was a memory, it was a flashback, right?
no, that's what I'm saying, though. But like, even if the kid didn't know what really happened, like, come
Yeah.
on, dude, you don't yell at a kid to call 911, dude. Like, come on.
Oh, okay, yeah. I mean, sure.
Like you're not gonna be like, oh my god, dude. But then the way they filmed it, they made it look like Barry sucked at calling 911. That's why she died. Like literally, that's what it seemed like. Obviously, it's not what happened, but
Hmm.
like it put all the pressure on the little kid to know what to do. And to me, I'm just like, that is just. I mean, this disrespectful as far as like
Unrealistic.
what. Right, well, unrealistic too. But like as far as like what a family's about, like, dude, like we know how to raise kids, right? Do we know how to raise children? Like you would never allow your son to like have to be the one to call 911. Hi, I'm 4. My mom just got set. It's like, bro, just let the so the dad should have been calling 911 from the get go, and there should have been no like that's like this. This is what I'm saying, dude. And we're gonna get into this, dude. Like this movie got me so enraged that like I started looking up names. I started looking up who wrote this movie, and we're gonna get into that, dude, because people need to be held accountable, dude.
Man,
Dude,
you this is like really pissed you off, huh?
I remember we were talking about whether you should separate the artist from the con the
Art
person
from the
from the
artist.
the art from the artist. And after watching this, I was like, no, dude, you can't separate it, dude. Like you have to hold everyone accountable because everyone has an ulterior motive,
So,
and whether
so
or
to
not
you, that's as bad as like Kanye West being a Nazi?
yeah, he needs to be held accountable for everything he's doing on the outside. Like no matter how good the music is, like how good that beat was, like what he does on the outside, like he can't be like, oh yeah, no, he can't be like, oh yeah, that was 2 months ago. I decided, no, you have to lump it all together and then make your decision. Is what I'm trying to say.
Well,
So, okay,
let
yes,
me, sorry to interrupt you. I didn't mention this earlier. Let me just quickly mention this. The director was
yeah, no, cool.
Andy Muschietti, who apparently is going to write the next Batman movie. Or sorry,
Wait,
direct, not
did you
right.
see the comments, dude? Did you see a lot of comments? I was looking on Twitter, like people are like, please don't, like, please God, no.
We'll get to the reviews. I don't have a problem with that because, regardless of how the movie ultimately turned out, I thought the Batman scenes were great. And if that's all he's doing in the Batman movie, I'm wrong.
But see,
But,
that's just reaching. That's like you like hoping. That's like you try to
but
coax. Like, oh,
I didn't have a problem with this movie. I mean, it's a comic book movie. You know what I mean? I didn't. Let me just finish saying this. The writers here were Christina Hodson, John Francis,
oh,
Lee, Jonathan Goldstein. Christina Hodson, I'm pretty sure wrote that Birds of Prey movie. Double
yeah,
check.
dude. She wrote
Yeah, she
everything,
did.
dude. As a matter of fact, dude, I think that I think her writing in that script is like 80-90% of it. I think all those other guys were just there for like 2 seconds, and she
I don't know. It
basically
doesn't
took over
say.
the entire script.
Could be. Doesn't say.
That's what I'm saying. Like literally, like because there's always like four or five writers, but like the first two writers are usually the ones who have the concept, and then like they write like the beginning or something, or and then like
There's one
yeah.
thing I actually just wanted to point out. I forgot to mention this. So his costume, the belt, I didn't like that it didn't loop all the way around to the front. That's it.
That's what I'm saying. It didn't look like a belt at all. It looked like it was just a full bodysuit.
Yeah, because the lightning bolts, like, sort of they went from the back to like the side. It didn't
Oh,
come.
you mean the Flash's costume?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Oh, well, yeah, I
That's
don't
what I
know the
meant.
original costume. I think you're talking about the Batman costume.
No, that definitely didn't. I mean, if they just had the dang yellow belt, it would have been perfect.
I mean, so all right, so let me keep going here.
Yeah, sorry.
Uh, the every scene with Barry, because we know what Ezra Miller was basically convicted of what was a child something
It was
endangerment or
grooming. It was
grooming.
like
Yeah,
assault. There was a whole bunch of things.
right.
Drugs.
Right when this movie was released, there was a footage of him like just getting arrested and like he
Yeah.
was just ripping into a female cop, and it was a bad. He was in Hawaii and they were arresting him.
Yeah, yeah,
It was
yeah.
just a
I remember.
bad look. Was he drunk or something?
Either drunk or high. I don't remember.
Dude, it was a bad look for this kid, and dude, it was like one of the you when you watch this, like you're just like, dude, this guy is this he's evil, like he's an evil person.
So you couldn't
I just
separate
don't
the
like
art from the artist? Is that what you're ultimately saying?
right because that's the thing. Like usually most people don't even care. They're just like, if it's a good movie, it's a good movie. But he
Yeah.
was so annoying in this movie that you're just like, sorry, like you suck, like you're such a bad annoyance that like we can't even allow you to be a psycho outside of movies. But
The irony is that
oh,
like he's playing a superhero, but in real life he's like basically a supervillain.
dude, if he would have been the bad villain in the movie or something, people probably have been like, yeah, he's a bad guy. Oh yeah, he's so cool. Like like a rock star. Most rock stars are freaking psycho. Um, throwing TVs through freaking hotel rooms or some shit. But so every scene where he was doing like, because dude, this movie had so many like homoerotic little quibs. Like you could just tell like a bunch of gay people helped make this movie, dude. And I'm talking like some degenerate type of like creepy. These guys are some freaking like they're just little hornballs. And what do they call them? Little hornballs. And
I don't know, but
so
let's hold on. Be careful what you're saying. Let's not start
so
bashing.
they snuck in a bunch of like dude like all the scenes where Barry's like half naked or he's like making these like really really a lot of kids won't understand what he's saying, but like he's making these little side notes to like that's a funny oh you want to suck me up like that type of thing. Like there was like about five or six of those in there, and I was just like in my head I was just like they were not funny, they were disgusting. And like I was like, dude, that is, and then knowing what he did, I'm just like, dude, like gross. And James Gunn, dude, that guy's a creepo, and the fact that he was like, this movie's so awesome, like, yeah, I'm not gonna forgive you, bro. Like, I'm I got my number. I'm watching that guy, and he's his freaking his judgment day is coming, dude. He's gonna get his soon.
Wait, why are you saying
Don't
he's a
worry.
creep? What are you referring to?
Oh, James Gunn, you never saw his tweets?
No, I did.
Yeah, remember when you talking about like all the jokes about like, kids and stuff, like the kid tweets, like, isn't it fun? Like it was like. I don't know. I don't remember what the tweets were, but it was literally like, yeah, it's cool to do stuff to kids. Like it was like that type of stuff where he was like, hey guys, I'm just joking. Like he literally would just come back and be like, it's a joke, and it's just like, no, dude, that's not a joke. That's actually you. That's like some projection stuff. But he was obviously he's dude. He gets a pass, and a lot of these Hollywood dudes, dude, look at how much Ezra Miller got a pass, dude. The guy literally
Yeah.
had to like commit
Yeah,
assault.
they were screwed. Yeah, they had no choice
Yeah,
to
I
do
mean, you
it.
because this is the thing. But before all this stuff got on camera with him doing that assault thing, like he was getting into trouble a lot, but it wasn't like on tape, and like they weren't really, there wasn't anything that was sticking, and he was getting away with so much. Anyway, so all right, let me keep going here. Do my bad. Um, all right. So yeah, I put all the naked innuendos, or even worse, knowing what he's done. Having two berries in the same room, dude. Like I don't know about you, man, but it was like getting too much. I was just like, I can't tolerate this, dude. Like the younger one's super annoying. The older one was like a father figure. Like, no, Barry, we can't do that. And then he would just have these like little snippy, like snappy things. Like, what are you doing? And then the younger Barry would be like, what? What's the big deal? And I'm just like, bro, like this is just so cringe. Like, just stop. Like, just like, dude, if it was a really good movie, dude, Batman would have beat him. Batman would have slapped both of them. He would be like, shut up. Like, get out of my house. It would have been like something like that where you're just like clapping. You're just like, thank you. Like, good. Batman's gonna go on. He's gonna go on his own and do this. Like, kick those guys out of there. Like, they were so bad. Um, all right, so um, the Batcave. Come on, bro. Like, like, why would Barry know how to go down there and just turn it on? Like that was so annoying. I was just like, you can't do that, dude. I know this is for kids. Some of it was, but bro, like Batman's like, nope, I pass. When they go into his house and they're like, hey man, help us out. Batman's like, no, screw you guys. And then Barry's like, well, we gotta do it ourselves. And then he's just like, hey, I need you to do that thing where you get inside the thing, and then Barry does it, and it's like a joke. He's like, ha ha ha, look, he uses X-ray power. I was like, Joe, this is stupid. So then they go down there, and then they freaking turn on the Batcave that hasn't been turned on in like what decades? It looked like Batman was done for like decades.
I
So
don't know, man. This is
and,
a stupid. Come on, this is like it's a PG-13 comic book.
and
This is
everything
like,
just miraculously started working again, like as if like all
why
the
do you let this
programs
stuff bother you
started
so
working.
much?
All the programs started working again. I was like, bro, like this.
So what did you want? What did you want? Like a 30-minute scene where they're plugging all the computers in? Like,
There's a way to do it where like they have to even mess with that. But I get it, man. They were trying to make it like a car. Well, so my other big thing about this was that this was basically a TV show. Like the chick who wrote it, Hodgson, like dude, she wrote this like a TV show, and it shows. Like it's so sappy and corny that like they should have just made this like a TV show and like not even try to make a movie out of it. But whatever they had to do what they had to do. Um,
all right, let's go to the critic review. I mean, you can rant all day. I get the point. You didn't
Okay,
like
one more. So the Flash worried
it.
about falling. So the Flash, there's a scene in the Batcave where the Flash was worried about falling off the ledge. Remember that part?
Yeah, I think
He
so.
had I think it was the young Flash too. So I mean, the old Flash didn't have the powers. I think.
Right, he didn't.
So the young Flash was worried about falling off the ledge, which is so ridiculous because, as we know, the Flash is so fast he can fly. Like there's no need for him to worry about falling off a ledge.
I
So
mean,
I
at
was
that
I
point,
was
he
like,
wouldn't have known how to fly though. He just got the powers.
right. But I'm saying like he would have been fast enough. So another thing too about the whole Flash speed thing, like I don't know why this movie wouldn't play with that more. Like like just knowing how to. I guess it would probably would have been made too expensive. It probably would have been hard to shoot all those scenes where like the Flash is a badass. Like dude, because nothing, dude. Like he's so fast. Like he can do anything he wants. Like he can literally save anyone milliseconds. He can just move. I mean, rearrange. And I get that, like it showed the other Barry throwing up because like he moved him or something. Oh, we threw up, but I think that's all. Hey, how was that, by the way? You read the comics, like were they always like putting that in there? If he moved somebody really quick, they would throw up or something.
I never actually read the Flash comic. I mean, I read some, but I wasn't a big fan. I think so. I mean, that's logical, right? If you're moving someone at super speed, of course they're gonna vomit.
Yeah, I'm wondering if like they play with that or if like they just make it seem like it doesn't make like they probably just didn't even know acknowledge it. So I don't know why
Wait,
this movie was
I
trying to
didn't. I think I
acknowledge
didn't
it.
understand what you're saying. Acknowledge what?
Like anytime the Flash has to like move somebody really fast that they get
Right,
affected by it, like they
right,
have like a
right,
hemorrhage, they get like a headache or something,
right.
or like if he's worried about doing that, like oh if I move this guy too quick, he's gonna have a heart attack. I don't think that like I honestly think in the comics they wouldn't do that. It would probably be too much to write.
I don't know. I don't. Who cares?
Right, but I'm saying
All right.
like to me, like it's a movie, right? It's a movie, so they
Yeah.
need to figure out better ways to like to not like have people like me thinking about that. Like I'm not like a super hardcore stickler about things, but like when people like me start thinking about this, it means that it's a problem. They made it wrong. Like they
Okay.
filmed
Okay.
it
Okay.
wrong. Like,
All right. I get it. You don't like the movie. It's clear.
right.
Let's look
So
at some critic reviews
all right,
here.
one more thing about Batman though. Like I will say Batman was the man. Like every time I saw Keaton doing his thing in the suit, it was awesome. And I was getting hyped. Like every time the Batwing was there, and I was hyped because
Yeah.
they did some pretty good scenes where they filmed it correctly. Where like you saw him, you're just like, oh dude, this is great. Like yeah, he was kicking ass. Like yeah, dude. Some of the scenes were good with Batman, and it's kind of sad the way that they kind of summed it up from in the movie. It was terrible, and I will never forgive these guys for what they did, and they ruined the Batman scene.
All
But
right. I get
overall they
it.
ruined it. But yeah, all right,
Okay. Okay.
we can go on now.
I get it. It's very personal. Okay. Here's critics review. So this movie. Wait, hang on. Give me 1 second. The movie's actually fresh. I think it's just barely fresh, but it's fresh. And so, okay, Sarah Vincent from Views. I don't know what that is. And she says Michael Keaton is this is a positive review. Michael Keaton is the main reason to see The Flash, the 13th film in the DC Extended Universe. Feel free to arrive at the theater under 1 hour late to see a decent Batman sequel. Otherwise, you'll be peeking at your watch. This is a positive review? Okay. That's weird.
Well, that's the thing. Like, dude, you see why that review is so like trumped up and like just them trying to be nice because Batman's like in 10 minutes of the movie, dude. Like he's not even half of the movie.
It's not
Like
a
this is
Batman movie, bro.
no, but I'm saying like to say that he's the only reason, like, dude, you're gonna pay X amount of money to watch a almost 2.5 hour movie to see 15 minutes to say that that was a good movie. That is dude
All
that
right, all
person
right.
should be they should not be allowed to do that.
Okay,
And
okay.
that's why if I saw her in
Calm
person,
down,
dude, I'd be
calm
like,
down, calm
you
down.
freaking
I got it, I got it.
like
Listen,
you.
no, I don't know if you realize it's not personal, man, but I got it.
No,
Let
dude,
me go through the
I'm
reviews, all right?
obviously
We got
I'm
it. You didn't like
obviously
the movie, I got it. We got it.
I'm
Look,
poking
we
fun.
you rant all day long about this. The point's been made.
I'm poking fun at obviously I'm not taking it personal, but I'm poking fun at the fact that like these people shouldn't be allowed to say what they're saying and like they should be called out.
The reviewers?
Yeah, even the reviewers, dude. There are so many people that love this. They said it's a good movie because of that. I'm like, bro, you're
It's their
lying.
opinion. They're allowed to have an
They're
opinion, bro. Okay,
lying.
look, listen. We're not critiquing the critics. Let me just go through what the critics said, okay? Relax, relax. Okay, that was Sarah Vincent views. Mark Kermode from Kermode and Mayo's Take on YouTube. I've heard that name, but I don't never watched it.
I don't know what that is.
Said for 2/3 of the Flash, and it's too long. It's kind of fun. In the last sections, it becomes slightly video game-ish. Yeah, I get that. I'll read some negative ones. Richard Von Busak from Good Times Santa Cruz said, "Are multiverses just an excuse for not picking a tone or choosing a story? Our cinema's flavor of the last few years may just be the child of channel surfing. Flash makes you feel simultaneously overserved and underserved." Okay.
Nice.
Here we go. Grant Watson Fiction Machine. The result of literally decades of unsuccessful development, it wasn't decades, culminating in something that, if not borderline unwatchable, is certainly the most pronounced death throw of Warner Brothers DC Extended Universe to date. Yeesh. Oh, he gave it a 3 out of 10. I forgot to mention the numbers. The last guy, no, there was no score. That was the only guy with actual numerical score. All right, so I'll say this. It was just barely fresh. Audience is 83%. Uh,
Jeez.
yeah,
Eighty-three
I mean,
percent.
yeah, but I mean, I don't know. I don't put much in the audience score. I just mentioned it. Okay, so that was basically it. I mean, I think we kind of are split down the middle on this one.
No, that's a good thing, man. Like I'm not trying to get you to sway your view and stuff. Like I think what's gonna happen with this type of movie, dude, they're gonna just get swept under the rug and people are gonna act like they don't exist. Like people, dude, these are gonna be forgotten films. Like this movie is so unremarkable. It's just a bad take on what they tried to do. They tried to From what I saw, dude, they didn't have a good vision. Like that time bowl, disgusting. Like, don't do a time bowl ever, dude. They put all. Oh, check it out! I saw the Nick Cage Superman for 2 seconds. Like, what does that even matter?
It was
Like,
a
who cares?
reference to, it was a very specific reference to something that'll
Right? No, I
not
get it,
really
but like, it
happen.
was so unentertaining, is what I'm trying to
Oh my
say.
God.
Like,
All right, all
so,
right.
dude,
We got it. You said what you had, like
so what if like they put his image there? Oh my God, I saw his image. That's so
okay,
cool. Like, who
okay,
cares?
okay, okay. Dude,
It
we're
doesn't
done. The
matter.
review's done. The review's
It doesn't
done.
even matter.
What do you want to watch next? What do you want to review the next episode?
Oh man, I don't. Dude, it doesn't even matter anymore, man. Like, there's no good. I mean, maybe. All right. Do you want to watch a good movie, or do you want to watch something that would be, you know, hair pulling as well?
Well, it's all subjective. So if you have a movie in mind, sure. What is it?
I'm trying to think about like one that I was thinking about where it might be good. Actually, oh my God, I can't even remember anymore. What did I
I can
just
also just
recently
look
see?
something up and text you.
Yeah, yeah. Start throwing names out.
No, I didn't mean right this second. I mean, like when I have a minute, I'll just look up some movies and then we can figure it out over
Oh,
text.
do you want to do something recent or something?
I don't care.
So, oh, I got one. I got one. Uh, we can do. Oh my God, I forgot the damn name now. Hold on. Is it called The Table? Let me see.
The menu?
The Platform. I think it's called The Platform.
The
Let's see. The
platform?
menu. The menu.
What? That's a movie. Oh, from 2019?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
No, not like
sci-fi
funny.
horror?
Yeah, dude.
Yeah,
Let's
this
do
looks
this
cool.
one.
Yeah, I'll watch this. This looks really cool.
Ooh, this is dude. I saw this movie already. I hate to say I already saw it, but like this is a good example of like what a good movie should be. And then it's also controversial where people can still hate the movie and be like, I didn't like it. But like, dude, because remember when people be like, I didn't like it when they say that? Like, dude, now the term I didn't like it is like to the point where, oh, dude, this just got
All
blown out of
right,
control.
let's stay on topic here. I have no problem. This looks cool. I'll watch it. Let's
Yeah,
do
we'll
this
watch.
for the
Yeah,
next episode.
yeah, get ready for amazingness. You're gonna be blown away.
Okay. All right. Then so like and subscribe. I don't know.
Yeah, it's good to be back, guys. We're finally back. We figured it out. We're here.
Yeah, and then we'll see you in the next episode. All
Yeah.
right.